Hey everyone, Chris here with Strength and Steel Reviews, and today we're reviewing the REP PÉPIN Adjustable Dumbbells after 6 months of consistent use. These things have received a ton of praise, and yeah, I was smitten at first too, but now, well, let's just say I've got some complaints, and a few of them are way too hard to ignore. So in this video, I'm going to cover what I like about these dumbbells, what I don't like about these dumbbells, and whether I think they're still worth your hard-earned cash in 2025, or if there's another option more worthy of your consideration that maybe I'm considering too. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, people. I will tell you that. Not even close. Let's get to it. All right, so don't get me wrong. The REP PÉPINs have earned a ton of praise online, and in many ways, I believe that praise is well deserved. But here's the thing. I see a lot of people reviewing these dumbbells who, frankly, don't look like they actually use them, if you catch my meaning. I use them. I've been using them almost every day for the past 6 months. I bought them with my own money, not for this review, and I've had more than enough time to come to several conclusions about these dumbbells. And I'll be honest, I've run into quite a few issues with these dumbbells. Some of them have been gently touched upon by other reviewers. Others I've hardly heard mentioned at all. Maybe I'm just being picky, but I don't think so. All that said, let me know in the comments if you think I am totally crazy, or if you've had some of the same issues with your own set. Let me know about that. And if you don't have a set and you're considering buying them today, check out the link below, support the channel. But okay, let's first discuss durability, because this may be where the REP PÉPINs, also known as the Repins, shine the brightest. So right off the bat, let me confirm that their sleek, tank-like look is not all for show. After 6 months of hard use, these two have somehow remained in fantastic condition, seemingly unchanged despite the trauma they should be experiencing at this point in our relationship. I mean, like I said, I've used them nearly every day for 6 months, and I have not been gentle during our time together. And yet, somehow, they have defied me, and they continue to defy me. The powder coat still looks clean, the knurling remains untarnished, and somehow the frame is as solid as ever. Now, regarding the knurling, yeah, Rep did a great job with this. I hear everyone clamoring about how great the knurling is, and though I would like to state my dissent just to rebel against the norm, I cannot. The knurling is great. Now, I don't really like rubber grips, nor do I like super passive knurling. I would say the knurling on the Repins leans slightly more toward aggressive, but overall, it sits comfortably in the middle somewhere. It gives you confidence under load without tearing up your hands, and after 6 months, I must admit that it's held up beautifully. No complaints here. Lastly, the pot pin adjustment system continues to function without any mechanical issues. The pins still click in with confidence, and they perform their function well despite my abuse. That said, I'm not in love with the adjustment system, but we'll get into that soon. Okay, so we've established that they are durable and they're tough. That's nice, but how do they feel? When the REP PÉPINs are working well, they're a dream. They feel remarkably close to fixed dumbbells about 95% of the time. Balanced in hand, and more often than not, a total joy to train with. What's especially impressive about the Repins is how much weight Rep has managed to pack onto these things without them feeling especially bulky. Despite capping out at 125 pounds per hand, they remain incredibly compact. And because of that compactness, they're super easy to haul around the gym, and you almost always get a complete range of motion, with a few exceptions. More on that soon. Now, Rep uses these 2.5 pound adder plates that can be pulled and removed independently, and I don't like them. I don't think anyone does. If you use them often, expect some rattle when they're attached, which can be annoying and, yeah, distracting, especially if you're pushing heavy weight and you're looking for complete concentration. They're easy to remove, but I have nowhere obvious to store them. I really hope Rep considers the community's feedback on this. Historically, they have. I know their newly released storage cart has slots for the adder weights, but we shouldn't have to buy a cart to conveniently store anything, in my opinion. And then there's a closed cage design. Early on, I didn't think the cage got in the way. In fact, I convinced myself that it didn't harm the experience at all. But after 6 months, I have to admit that I was wrong. I lied to myself. The cage does get in the way, at least for me. For example, when doing Romanian deadlifts, the cage consistently clips my shins on the way down. And that's already a nauseating exercise at base, so I don't need that distraction. Another example would be bicep curls. When I rotate my wrist, the dumbbell usually catches somewhere on my forearm, depending on where I gripped it initially. It annoys me, I won't lie. At least for me, the cage can be a real distraction during certain movements. All right, let's jump back over to the adjustment system. So, like I said, Rep uses a pot pin system here, and mechanically, I will give it credit. It's held up really well. Each click is super satisfying, it sinks in with confidence, and it has been reliable. Now, I would also imagine that one of the reasons why these dumbbells are so compact is due to the simplicity of this adjustment mechanism. But just because it works doesn't mean that I have to love it, and I don't. But I don't want to be dramatic, I don't hate it either. My opinion is kind of meh. Here's the thing, it's not exactly fast. So if you're doing supersets or circuits where you're bouncing between weight ranges, this system just feels sluggish. You've got to pull the pin, line it up just right on both sides, and occasionally you've got to fiddle with the plates if something didn't quite seat properly. And while the adder plates that I mentioned earlier technically allow for 2.5 pound increments, they also slow down things even more if you're adjusting them mid-workout using the adder plates. That might not matter if you're doing traditional strength training with long rest periods, but for anything with tempo or with flow, this setup can start to feel sluggish really fast. And I guess while we're on the topic of adjustments, let's talk about the cradle, because this part can be a little frustrating. You need to manually set the spacers to match the width of your dumbbells, something which depends on how much weight you actually have available. And getting the dumbbells back into the cradle is not always smooth and simple. Occasionally, the plates will catch or misalign, especially if the spacing is too tight or your descent into the cradle is slightly angled or off. So no, it doesn't ruin the experience, but it definitely slows things down. You have to be deliberate when re-racking, otherwise you're gonna be fiddling with the plates to try to get everything lined up again. For me, when the plates stick, I literally have to drop the dumbbell on the floor to reset things. It's fine, but often you just wanna work out, you just wanna go. All right, let's brighten things up a bit because I don't hate these dumbbells. Something I really do appreciate about the REP Pépins is their ability to grow with you. The potential weight capacity of each dumbbell ranges from 85 pounds to 125 pounds per hand. I can't state that enough. Most other adjustable dumbbells cap out somewhere between 50 and 100 pounds, and very few push beyond that. So yeah, this is a great feature. Personally, I started with 85 pounds and later I bumped them up to 100 pounds per hand, which has served me super well. When I build up the strength, and I will build up the strength, I'll upgrade this set to 125 pounds. Having the option to upgrade over time is a serious plus in my book, even if it comes at a price, because make no mistake, these are not budget-friendly dumbbells. But if you're here, you probably know that already. The 85-pound set starts at $12.99 at the time of this video, and each 20-pound add-on will cost you an additional $269.99. They're expensive, but they're also built to last, and they do grow with you. These are going to last you a lifetime. That said, here's my advice. If you think you're gonna want the full weight eventually, buy it all up front, because otherwise it's going to be an additional 70 bucks for each individual 20-pound pack. If you're unsure what to do what I did. Feign patience and hope for the best. Okay, so let's address the profit question. Are they still worth it? Yet again, a part of me wants to say no, just because everyone loves these things so much, but I can't. Yeah, they're still worth it. These things are built like tanks. They look great, and they've taken an absolute beating without showing it. If you're investing in premium dumbbells, these will last you a long time. The knurling is excellent, they're well balanced, and the compactness, especially at higher weight ranges, is genuinely impressive. Being able to expand all the way up to 125 pounds without replacing the entire system is a major plus if you want to add weight over time. That said, they're not flawless. The micro plates rattle and they're awkward to store. Also, they can slow you down if you like to move quickly in the gym. The pop pin adjustment system is reliable, but it's not fast. And the closed cage design, yeah, it gets in the way, at least for me, more than I originally wanted to admit. Now, if I were to consider another option seriously, it would be the Dumbbells. I've been staring at them for months, and I'll be honest, I'm probably going to pick up a pair at some point. I don't know when, but their adjustment system is just so glorious. You just rotate the handle to adjust the weight. It's very similar to the Core Fitness adjustable dumbbell system. And their new model goes all the way up to 100 pounds, which for me, places them in serious contender territory. But for the time being, the Repins remain my go-to. They're expensive, yes, but they're built to last. So yeah, despite all my complaints, and they are my complaints, though I don't think I'm alone, I would recommend them. I do think they're still worth it. Go check them out. That's it for the review, guys. Thank you for coming by. Stay strong and stay steely, and I'll see you in the next one.